Turns out Democratic gaslighting produces zero emissions. Let's jump into today's video.
And these tariffs will increase prices in other commodities as well. So what I'm hearing is that despite all of this talk that Donald Trump and the Republican Party have about driving down energy costs, their first decisions are actually to drive up energy costs, including prices at the pump across the United States. And that has knock-on effects across the entire economy, right? These prices are not just contained. They're not just hiking prices on oil and gas. Oil and gas prices will then hike up prices on groceries and pretty much any good that gets transported, as well as housing and construction, correct?
Now you understand.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me go ahead and say, now she understands these things. They act like, the Democrat Party acts like they don't understand these overhead costs when talking about things being too expensive and complaining about Trump having to impose things like tariffs. But now she seems to understand. And by the way, as an American, just anecdotally, I just paid less than $30 to fill up my pump at Sam's Club here lately. So the costs have definitely gone down. And from what I've seen in charts, they've gone down. But anecdotally, I can tell you they have gone down. But let's keep it going.
Okay, and so we are looking at almost an all economy increase in prices. And that has also been backed up in previous price changes as well. In fact, oil production, and what we've seen is that in 2023, and some of these gas price increases, we saw knock-on effects across the entire economy before, right, with gas?
Yes.
Okay, so I think what we need to really hone in on here is the fact that what we're seeing is that the Trump administration is saying one thing, but doing another. And if the Trump administration is promising to lower energy prices, it's important for us to ask, why are they making decisions to do the opposite? But let's talk.
Also, I'd love to say this is the same lady who literally has talked about how Republicans make arguments and they're too specific, like complaining about people being too factual and too specific within debates and arguments. But also, again, this is just hilarious. She's making a lot of this up. I hope he answers well, because a lot of this is not factual. Notice she's not giving you statistics or numbers like generally a Republican would in this same complaint.
No, go ahead.
I hope you're not asking me that question. I don't know.
I think we'll dig into it.
The gentlelady's time has expired, and the chair now recognizes the gentleman from Michigan's 10th District for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Apparently, Democrat gaslighting produces zero emissions. But what does their radical agenda mean for constituents in my districts and your districts who pay more at the pump, who pay more for groceries? Folks in Southeast Michigan have experienced their jobs being extinct, being shipped to other states, being shipped to other countries because Green New Deal woke policies do not work in the real world. Let's look at this from a 30,000-foot view. Over the past 4 years, every American has footed a higher gas bill, higher energy costs, and rising prices to keep their cars running and their homes heated. Under the Biden-Harris administration, they totally bent over to the radical left. We stopped producing cleaner, affordable energy in America to fit a narrative that only serves coastal elites and the rich in New York and California. What did this lead to? Our strategic petroleum reserves hit lows we haven't seen since I was a baby. That meant U.S. relying on energy that was unclean, energy that I would note are from dictators and despots in Moscow and Beijing and Tehran. Here's the inconvenient truth for my friends on the left. Energy produced and developed here in America is cleaner, it's safer, and it doesn't threaten our national security. In fact, it bolsters it. And what's worse, relying on our adversaries for energy means American jobs go down, not up. My constituents in the Detroit area are all too familiar with this, seeing the reckless policy effects of the EV mandates. Another failed policy billable to the Biden administration is importing sour crude, which has funded our adversaries. And we talk about infrastructure investments on the left side. Well, how about shutting down the Keystone Pipeline, which got rid of 11,000 union jobs? Now,
and I need to take a pause here as well to explain some of the things he's talking about. This is a man, Mr. James here, that absolutely understands what he's talking about. The Biden administration was literally actively trying to stop America from making oil. They lowered our oil reserves to unbelievable lows, as he mentioned, which are now being filled up again thanks to the Trump administration. We've been filling up our reserves, but also they were literally stopping things like fracking, pretending that it was horrible for the environment when it really is not what they were explaining. It's about as bad as everything is having a home is for the environment, right? It's digging, basically. And then the other thing is, Mr. James here is explaining how we are trying to rely on getting power from all of these other corrupt places instead of actually making the power ourselves. Electricity that you and I are using right now to make and watch this video, it requires fossil fuels to run things to actually create the electricity.
The Democrats' Green New Deal agenda is the grim reaper for American jobs and actually clean energy. Being able to actually move forward into a future where we can all have cheaper, safer, cleaner energy is our goal. All of the above is the approach. Line 5 pipeline is something that is a critical. Last year, I spoke on the House floor about how Biden's war on LNG was going to harm Michigan specifically. We have 1.1 trillion cubic feet in underground storage, which is one eighth of the entire nation's natural gas storage capacity. Given DTE and consumers' baseload requirements that are increasing over the years versus the regulations in Michigan, we've been dealing with heavy-handed restrictions on building additional natural gas facilities and the supporting infrastructure requirements that we need to convey that safely with less power outages across the state. With a Republican House, Republican Senate, and White House, what can this Congress do to scale up natural gas as a reliable source? Again, Mr. McCown.
This is a really great question to be putting on them as to what can we do in this case, because we can't rely on other countries for everything. That's ridiculous. For those people who are like, oh, well, what's going to happen? Possibly a war? Who knows what's going to happen? We need to make sure that we are keeping ourselves accountable. And honestly, I'm very happy that Trump is working things out with the Saudis, because at the very least, we're getting things figured out for energy and oil and stuff like that. Now let's see what he has to say.
Well, there are several things we can do. Number one is we can stop the war on fossil fuels. We can have revised permitting. We can invoke public-private partnerships, loan guarantees. Some of the very same things that have been done for the renewable industry could be done to expand our natural gas or other fossil fuel industry, too. It should be a level playing field for everybody.
We all want clean air. We all want clean water. We all want to reduce pollution. But we also don't want to send our countrymen to the poorhouse trying to pay for sunshine and rainbows that before our infrastructure is ready for it.
But this is not only a situation of not being able to afford it, this is a situation of what if we don't have these things to keep people alive? If we run out of the natural gases and all of the types of reserves that we have, then we are actually just screwed as a country to run things like hospitals, live in your house, air conditioning, medical stuff. All of those kind of things matter. And these are the things the Democrats never thought about. And now they're pretending to think about these types of things. And it is infuriating to see that they're putting this on the Republicans like, well, you've had 6 months. How have you not fixed the world that we've been ruining for the last 4 years? So that's what I have to say, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Please tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And I will see you in the next video.